we made a remark in the description of the event that basically some of the presentation can be in Bulgarian, so we'll honor that. So welcome to the 27 Crypto Meetup, which means that 27 months will be going on, and I'm happy that today is a full house. Today's topic we decided to kind of give the floor to what's going on in the crypto space in Bulgaria. Last time somebody mentioned that there are about 80 projects which are about to release an ICO, and possibly about 20 others already did it. So we decided to kind of see which of these projects, what they do, what they're all about, and we invited 8 like that today. And since we had a lot of applications, we decided to do it the next time as well. So next time you will see another 8, possibly. So what's going to happen today, you'll be listening to 8 pitches, which will be about 7 minutes each. And then we'll leave the floor for a couple of question and answers from you guys. And we, from the principle of decentralization, we basically decided that you will be the voting institutions, well, whatever, the voting people as well. This is kind of a handmade thing, so what we did, we put a link in the event, the Sofia Crypto Meetup event, which is in the Sofia Crypto Meetup group. There you see events. In the discussion, there is a link with Google form, and you can vote for the ICOs on the basis of 1 to 5. If you can do it, it would be great. We can give some feedback to the participants of your opinion on their pitch. And before that, though, we'll have one of the most successful ICOs in Bulgaria, Eternity, a representative telling about their activities recently. So if you want maybe to intro, you guys are from the same outfit.
So actually, just to mention, each presentation will be 7 minutes long, and there will be 3 minutes for questions. And I would very much like to see presentations which are really like 7 minutes long, because otherwise we might have to stay here up till 9. So please keep the time and be as concise as possible. Also, this is how the event looks like in the group. It's pinned at the top. When you go to it and when you enter the discussions, you see a link to the forum. Use that forum to provide feedback to the projects. And so before we start, usually we have this thing where I present most of the most interesting things from the month. We don't have this today because we have a lot of presentations. We don't have enough time. But we also have a presentation by Eternity, which is the company that I also work for. We recently launched an incubator program, which is called Starfleet. And I have Steffi, which is going to say a few words about it.
Thank you, Vadi. Hi. Is it okay like that? Okay. So, hello, everyone. Yep. So this is me. My name is Steffi Decina, and I'm the head of operations and marketing at Eternity Ventures. And today I'm joined with my colleague Valo, who is our product manager. So you all know, I guess, Eternity, and we are part of Eternity Ventures. So you're probably already asking, what is this? Eternity Ventures is a separate business unit dedicated to the mission to help seed stage projects and also advanced ones to realize their full potential. And one really exciting thing which we're doing at the moment in Bulgaria is the incubator, which Vladi just mentioned, which is called Starfleet. So why Eternity Starfleet? Let me start with the most interesting thing. We are one of the first fully decentralized incubators, which means that even if you're on the beach in Thailand or in London, you can take part, because everything we do will be live streamed globally. So you don't have to be in Sofia, you can be in Thailand and still be part of our project. But I still think one of the most exciting things is the amount of money which we're giving. So each team, which will be part of Eternity Starfleet, has the opportunity to get up to $250,000 for their projects as a funding. We will start, as you will see in a moment, in June, and we'll bring about 30 people from all over the world as mentors and lecturers. We have super interesting names coming up in the next days, and so stay tuned. It will be really interesting. Because I have just 5 minutes, and I'm rushing, so what is going to happen? We are currently in the stage of pre-selection, and the window for applications is still open, so if any one of you has a project who is interested in applying. The deadline is the 6th of June, and you can apply on f6s.com Eternity Starfleet. On the 11th of June, we start with Genesis Week with 10 teams. And this would be a huge boot camp. So in 1 week, we'll bring amazing mentors from all over the world who will teach you, who will give you great workshops. But at the end of the week, only the 5 best teams will continue for the fundings. After that, you have 4 more weeks of trainings with more exciting lectures coming up. And the final demo day is in the middle of July, when you will fight for the amount of money, actually. And after that, acceleration will help you with your token sale if that's what you're going for. And at the end, you'll be part of a great alumni network. So, as I said, we are a really, really new project, and every support means a lot to us. So stay tuned, follow us on all kind of social medias, and yeah, stay tuned because amazing things are happening.
Thank you, Steffi. And now we have the first project. So the presenter of the first project, there we go.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me here. My name is Peter Lozanov and I'm a co-founder of 15 to Go. I'm not going to start because I have only 32 slides, so I'm going to wait for it. That's me, yeah. So yeah, basically for us, everything started 3.5 years ago when we established TripC, and we started to organize group trips. So we found out that there is no better way to get to know somebody and to find a real friend rather than traveling. So we end up establishing 15 to Go, and this is actually the social travel network and group tours marketplace, of course decentralized, where you can match with cool people, book your next adventure and travel together. And we want to solve really, let's say, obvious problems. Of course, the lack of opportunities for meeting new people, and the not so easy organized process to get your friends on board for a certain trip. But the biggest issue is the unfair distribution of the value in group travel industry. What I mean, if you want to go to Mexico and you're, let's say, 10 or 15 people, you eventually will book through a Bulgarian outgoing agency. They're going to book through a Spanish wholesaler, and when you're in Mexico, guess what? You're going to meet only the Mexicans. But actually, this is a really good example for legacy intermediary. The outgoing agents are cutting not only the value chain, but also the communication. So what's the solution? We believe that the most important part is who you're going to travel with rather than when and where. So everything starts with matching with cool people. So on our platform, you'll be able to swipe and find people to travel with. Then when you book your adventure, they're going to be notified where you're about to go, and they eventually will join and travel together with you. So we're going to have a really cool social profile, travel map, your bucket list, and a lot of bunch of other cool features. What happened? Yeah. But this is only the beginning. We want to establish a new way of booking. We call it the crowdsourcing in travel. What does that mean? If you're one of the first 15 to book a certain trip and more people join after you, you're about to receive token backs, and you're eventually you're going to travel for less, or why not even for free. But the end goal is establishing a decentralized zero commission booking marketplace. Because we strongly believe that domestic tour operators should earn more while travelers should pay less. And the solution is to establish direct connection between the customer and the service provider, using smart contracts, establishing frictionless payment connection, and also transparent and secure payment processes. But we're going to go further. We're going to establish a secondary marketplace where domestic tour operators can offer gig jobs and hire people from the community for influencers, guides, customer support, etc. Our target market are millennials living in the big cities with no time for having their social life and meeting new people. And the market is constantly growing. Social travel market and group travel market are really a huge opportunity. Our business model is pretty much simple. We're going to have premium features for DTOs. Also, we're going to sell advertising space for brands and, of course, premium positioning on the marketplace. We're going to have ambassadors network with people that are going to spread the word about the project even before the token generation event. We're already doing this. We're going to give opportunity for the people in the community to fundraise their trip. What do we mean? It's part of our core mission. If you want to help, for example, India with their pollution problem or in Africa for their, let's say, diseases problem, you can volunteer and maybe people from the community can fundraise your trip. You can go and help the locals. But also for your birthday or maybe if you're, let's say, a good kite surfer, you can offer your services and teach people that are going to be on the trip and they can fundraise you and get you on board. I will skip that. I will describe it here. We're going to introduce, we call it proof of travel. So a portion of our tokens will be locked from the total supply. So if you're booking a trip, you're going to unlock a certain portion of those tokens, but not only you, but also the people who have referred you to the ecosystem will get a portion of tokens, and also the DTOs, but only if there are at least 15 people to book a certain trip. So we're going to align the incentives and the goals in the ecosystem, and this is only the beginning. I'm not going to describe in details our token economics. It's not finalized yet. It's pretty much not so easy, actually. We want to have something we call reward engine. So we want to stimulate content creators to bring more people on board and increase the user acquisition. This is going to increase the demand, and of course we're going to circulate the token in the ecosystem, not only by paying to the DTOs, but also when we empower the DTOs to hire people from the community, converting them not only into consumers, but prosumers. Governance model is going to be really interesting, so the entry and the exit on the marketplace will be in the power of the community, and also, of course, they can vote on important topics concerning the prosperity of the whole ecosystem. We use blockchain for data protection, so we're going to unlock your sensitive data only to the real service provider. You're going to have the automation, the trust transparency, the frictionless payments, the guaranteed by the smart contracts, and of course, our native token will help with aligning of the incentives in the self-governing system. The team, we're more than 20 people, working on that for more than 6 months. So basically our idea is to ship the product before a token generation event, to use the sale not only for fundraising, but mostly for getting more people on board. And initial user base, so yeah. You can find us afterwards. We are kind of colorful type of guys. Of course, we are hiring, so for us, it will be really important to receive your feedback, and it's going to be a really interesting journey. So I hope that you can share our mission to empower people from all over the planet to unite, collaborate, and of course explore the world with friends. So I hope that you're ready to go with us. Thank you very much.
You mentioned that the system is commission free, but at the same time there is a commission that goes to affiliates and to booking operators. That sounds contradictory to me.
Maybe I didn't explain it really well, but the idea is that, for example, from the total supply, we will have, let's say, 20 or 25% of the tokens locked. So when you're booking, you're going to unlock it. So it's different. It's similar, like, let's say, mining. So you're going to unlock tokens, we're not going to give them away. It's not going to be ours. And eventually, when the network effects kicked off and we have been unlocked all the tokens, that feature was going to end.
Questions, anyone? Okay, we can save time then. Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
By the way, if you want to vote, vote it. I don't know how that will work, but it doesn't matter. Let's see. For the next speaker, by the way, this is a sort of a timer, which is not the best, but we found it on the internet. So you can see your time here. So you're right.
Okay, the next presentation is Open Source University.
So yes, first of all, thanks for having us, and yeah, hi to everyone. My name is Momchil Jambazov, and I'm one of the co-founders of Open Source University, which happens to be one of the Bulgarian ICOs. So let's start first with the abstract and traction that we already have, and I'll try to briefly explain the whole idea. Okay. So, yes, what is Open Source University? This is a distributed platform to bridge learners, academia, and businesses closer together. This is a decades-old problem, the business education gap. We did find out that a lot of people tried to solve it, but didn't succeed too much. And this is a project that actually is with history. The research phase started back in 2015. We have quite a lot of partners. Kind of a recursion. Okay. So these are some of the companies who are supporting the project, who are working with us. You can see top universities in at local level here, including VUZF, media groups, recruitment companies. This is the network that we are going to achieve our goals together with. And then the project did get quite recognition at the global stage. This is one of the first academic-led ICOs. We have a Center for Open Science at the Technical University here in Sofia, and something quite recent, but very important, UCL. So this is University College of London. Those guys are, for 5 consecutive years, the best university in the ed-tech industry. So second are Harvard, third are MIT. And we just joined their incubator, which is educated. Also, the research phase of the project was funded with the European Commission grant. And below you can see photos of the companies who also recognized the project and supported it during the years. Another important thing, we were recognized by the Global Blockchain Expo, which is in Amsterdam later in June. And Open Source University is nominated as one of the most innovative use of blockchain for social good in 2018. Christian Deskalov, who is one of the co-founders as well and the visionary of the project. He did a very good research, and he is the doctor. He won the doctoral research of the year granted by the Ministry of Education in Bulgaria. And we were also recognized by Byte for technological advancement of the project. And I'll try to go faster. So what problems do we actually solve? So solution number one. Does anyone know who these guys are and what is the common thing between all of them? Yeah. So this is some Bulgarian representative, and even at the global scale, at top level, at CEO level, people tend to fake their degrees, their credentials, and their achievements. So this obviously is a problem, because what happens when you go down the tree, like all the businesses have to verify this. Here are some stats to support this problem, and actually it turns out that it costs a lot of time and money to verify credentials, both on the university and business sides. So how we can solve this through blockchain? So imagine when you graduate, and we can use a private key from the university perspective, and also each learner has his own competence passport or a wallet. And combining the two private keys, we can just sign a transaction on the blockchain to store the certificate. And after that, when you go to apply for a job position, you can refer to the transaction. They can see the public key from the website of the university, and you grant them your public key. So this is how you both keep the privacy of your data, and in the meantime, you have immutably stored competence passport on the blockchain, which is beyond institutional and national borders. The platform has a lot of features, which I cannot cover currently, but this includes transferring score points and all of the academic stuff that is currently very, very bureaucratical, and yeah, it is saved on paper in most of the cases. So these are millennials, as addressed in the previous presentation as well, and it tends that their understanding of the world is slightly different. We live in a very dynamic world, and somehow sitting 4 years in a university just to leave it underqualified, or the new requirements have changed so much that you are not adequate to the market, it doesn't align with their vision to the world. And even if you are not a millennial, you might need, by the way, millennials will be the primary workforce in the next decade. And even if you are not a millennial, you might need to change your job or gain new skills. And as a futurist, Alvin Toffler said, so the illiterates of the 21st century will be the guys who cannot unlearn, learn, and unlearn.
So, yeah, the time is over.
Yeah, we had some technical issues, so I
You,
have two
you
more
can
minutes.
eat some time from the questions, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the current educational system is slow and expensive. We can solve this through a global tokenized marketplace where everyone can produce content, including academias and standard universities, and the quality of the content is measured by the community through a trust and reputational system. Linking the dots. This is a circle for candidate sourcing, smarter recruitment, and continuing education, corporate learning and development, and rising employee qualification. Though there we are addressing billion-dollar markets. You can find about that more on our website. So the project, why blockchain? There are many reasons. Some of them are less bureaucracy, building a trustless environment, having transparency, and yeah, of course, supporting learner progression through transferring their credentials across global boundaries. Why do we need the token? We can't have a after the pitches. This is the founding team, all A-star players. We have a very big team who are working dedicatedly on the project for the last 10 months. And we have a global network of advisors, ambassadorships, and it is a truly distributed team to the core. The ICO starts on June 4th, so it's in 4 days. And yeah, we can discuss the details later, and you can contact me at any time, and I would be very glad to answer your questions.
We can have one question. If somebody has a question, we have time for one question.
Okay, so thank you.
Your own token.
Yeah, thank you for that question. We will have some other cryptocurrencies as well as fiat to support mass adoption at a later stage. Our token, of course, we are not hiding the fundraising part, which is like to bring this platform to life, but we have also truly zero commission transactions. We have other, for other cryptocurrencies, we have a commission. And we can use the token, think of it like colored bitcoins for education, because we can use it to change how we pay scholarships, how we raise funds for scientific projects, how we incentivize learners to learn, and giving an opportunity for everyone to learn at a self-paced mode and get rewarded on the results that he is achieving.
The thing with the forum, I still want to try it, how it works, and now it's permission allowed. So after the project, please go and try to give feedback. We're not relying too much on it, but still, it's one of those experiments. Okay, so next one is Nobu. Go for it.
Hello, everyone. The clicker. So, hello, everyone. My name is Georgi, and most of you know me as one of the founders and CEO of Enhansive. At the end of the year, I exited the company, and today I'm going to talk about how our new company is going to decentralize recruitment. So first of all, let's face it, hiring is huge, and it's one of the key things, if not the number one thing, that drives companies forward. And basically, an organization with the right hires would flourish, and an organization with weak employees will ruin its culture and eventually die out. Statistics prove it. 83% of the companies say that talent is number one priority for them for this year. Staffing industry, only the staffing part, not the whole talent acquisition, is a huge number with 10% year-over-year growth. And as a proof for this, the big players, the best tech companies in Silicon Valley have actually entered the battle for dominating the recruitment space. But first of all, let's see what actually the problem is with recruitment. So basically, for junior to mid-level, like there are two ways to hire: through job boards and through staffing agencies. From junior to mid-level, job boards work so-so. And but for the higher level of hires, you need to work with staffing agencies. When you choose the first way, basically you post a job ad, you distribute it to different types of job boards, groups, your personal network. Of course, you leverage this by having a great employer branding. But the problem with that is that HR departments have turned into marketing departments, and they're not, and they're not skilled into this topic. But the bigger problem comes from this that HRs don't have enough time for the actual important work. which is developing the culture, training the employees, onboarding. And as a proof, you can see the bad hire rate at Spotify in New York, in the New York's office, is more than 50%. On the other hand, staffing agencies and recruiters, yeah, some of them are able to find you the person, but on what cost? It takes 3 to 4 months to fill in a position for a senior hire in the IT industry, and they take up to 30% of the annual salary of the person, of the gross annual salary. And at the end, the results that they drive are mediocre to a bit above average people to your funnel. Well, we believe that blockchain can solve this. And from this standard model that we currently have, the company is working with a couple of agencies. They're looking for the right talent. At the end, one of the agencies finds the talent. But with a limited network, we want to open this to all types of people, not only recruitment agencies, but also influencers, experts in the field, other recruiters, why not? Also current and ex-employees, advisors, investors, top management, like all types of people. And instead of one person receiving the bounty for a work of 4 months, why not find a top applicant in 1 week and all the people who have actually referred that talent to split up the bounty. A small part goes to the talent himself and a small part goes to us. And the actual platform, basically you can discover companies and you can refer talent, but in order the referral to work, it won't work out with the old job ads. So basically we need more detailed information about the company. Not only about their product and the impact of their product and the key achievements the company has, but also to take a glimpse into their office, see the perks they provide, see their actual culture, what the events they're organizing internally are. Like this is actually why, this is of what the culture of each company is comprised of, all the mini weekly, monthly, yearly things that they're organizing. Also see who your team lead will be, your team, like the tools you'll be using, the methodology, like deep into much bigger detail into the role. On the other hand, recruiters will be able to see, like they have 2 pools, referred candidates and applied candidates. They can always ask for further referrals, and they can easily manage their hiring funnels so that they hire better. The end goal is to hire top professionals in less than 2 weeks, to reach the best professionals in the industry, because currently it's not possible through staffing agencies. They just don't work with them. And hire half the price if you're also an active member of our community. The end goal of all of this is to make the whole talent acquisition industry much more efficient and collaborative. So far, we've gathered a team of 10 people. The product concept is version 2, and I'm pretty sure we're going to iterate it much more. We've secured half of our pre-ICO funding. We got accepted at actually Eternity Ventures, for which we're really grateful. Also, some other bullshit. We are looking for blockchain developers. Drop us a line if you know someone, and of course you'll receive a token reward for that. So thank you. You can reach me on my Telegram or phone, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. So having worked in the HR industry for a bit, you have a massive chicken and egg problem, getting people and getting HR, recruiters, where HR is probably the most conservative part of the business. How are you getting them on board?
So basically, the chicken and egg problem. Actually, like, we are not the first ones who realize that referral is the key ingredient for the right hire. Before us, 5 years ago, that was the biggest trend in the talent acquisition industry. Employee referral tools were one of the biggest hypes. Also, the e-staffing industry appeared, and which basically is an online digital agency for recruitment. The problem with them is exactly like one of the problems with them is the chicken and egg problem. And they're scaling vertically. So basically they're scaling city by city, super slowly, one by one. What we believe that will solve the problem actually is the ICO itself. And we want to have a ready product when we launch the ICO, so that we start as the ultimate place for finding blockchain talent and talent for all types of ICO projects. And because 40% of the current crypto users are developers, entrepreneurs, and other types of crypto-related professions, so we believe that this way, with the hype of the ICO, we'll solve the chicken and egg problem. And afterwards, the network effects, because we have built-in super strong network effects inside, they will kick off.
Yeah, what I don't quite get is normally when a company hires a staffing agency or a headhunter, it is because they trust the judgment of that agency to bring good talent. Now, you clearly offer a bounty to various parties to basically refer anyone. So it's in the interest of anyone to refer someone to your decentralized platform. But where is the quality check? Where is the... If I'm an HR manager and if I want to hire someone, I imagine that this system would get me perhaps thousands of referrals just for the bounty, hoping that there's something in there. So where's the quality check?
So basically, on the slide, which I won't be able to show you right now, but on the slide, when you're a recruiter and you see all the people that were referred to you, they're ordered in a way. And the way we order them is based on each referral's rating. And this rating is comprised of a couple of different things. First of all is how many, out of all the referrals that person made, how many were actual hires. And if that person referred 10 people and 5 were hired, then that means that he's a pretty good referrer. But if he referred 100 and only one got hired, that means that he's a LinkedIn recruiter. Basically, like there is a term for that. And also, it matters whether you worked together like for 4 years and you were his manager, or you met him on the Silicon Drink about last week. So basically, we look at domain expertise, their past history, and we believe that this rating would eventually become something like Google SiteRank, but for people.
More questions? No, that's it.
Thank you.
Again, a chance to vote. We will be waiting for the other presentation to switch my computers. That was fast.
It works and it was fast. Good. I have my own clicker, of course. All right. Good evening, everyone. So I believe that Satoshi is not an academic hired at an academic institution. Because if Satoshi had been, she had had every incentive to publish her paper in an academic top-notch journal to get the tier 1 points to get the next round of funding to actually keep her job. So Satoshi is not hired at an academic institution, and that is the reason why we're all here today. So the question is, of course, of those researchers hired at academic institutions, how many papers have they published with breakthroughs that are equally as important as Satoshi's paper, but are today hidden behind paywalls and inaccessible to most of us? That is the question that we're going to discuss today. The thing is, science is in trouble, right? The world runs on it. But we have an information overload. There's too much of it. Even deep domain experts cannot stay on top of everything. There's built-in biases in the citation system. There's massive reproducibility issues. In some fields, up to 95% of all papers cannot be reproduced easily. There's access issues. big publishing houses sitting on top, raking in tons of tax money that none of the researchers see anything of. And finally, all of this means that the incentives for academics are entirely skewed. To get into the top journals, you have to have really good results. To get really good results, you might, leave out a few constraints, a few limitations on your methods, etc. So there's this massive incentive skewing in this industry. 3 years ago, we set out to solve some of this. My co-founding team is from Singularity University. The reason why we are made in Bulgaria is our CTO, who is Bulgarian, currently living in Sweden. We are actually doing our ICO out of Bulgaria, and to quote our CFO, it's not all about the yogurt, but that is an important factor. So what did we do? Summer 2015, we started this company, and we decided to tackle the problem of information overload and built-in biases. And we did that not with blockchain, but with artificial intelligence. And we built a range of AI tools for researchers, both in industry and academia. These tools allowed us to be pronounced by Fast Company to be one of the top 10 most innovative AI companies in the world. We were up there on the list together with Google and a number of others. We raised a couple of million in funding, we have paying clients, and these paying clients spend in total in the world about $138 billion on tools like ours. Not ours, tools like ours. Not ours yet. We have a ton of registered users and proven technology. So, what the heck am I here for? Here's the problem. Selling B2B software isn't going to change this industry. And that's the bottom line. Reproducibility issues, access issues, and this skewed incentive mechanism, which brings me to why we're here today. Because using blockchain and our own token, we're able to actually solve this. First of all, what we're dealing with here is a two-sided marketplace without set prices. Like, what is a research paper worth? Right now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how do you put a price on Satoshi's paper? Like, you don't, right? So that's the marketplace we're dealing with. Of course, building a solution on the blockchain allows us to build a new economic model from scratch. It allows property to be communal, because arguably, science is like the ultimate decentralized body of knowledge that we have. It should belong to all of us, even though it doesn't today. And there's some aspects of pseudonymity that is really interesting. For example, researchers living in countries where you cannot freely express what you really want to express in your paper. Maybe especially so, for example, political science. And that is what we are doing in Project IRE, which is I'm not going to call it a side project of Iris AI, because it does take all of our time, but it is initiated by Iris AI, the commercial entity. But it is a community-owned project. We are building a new incentive model where researchers and contributors can get rewarded tokens to build code, to do quality assurance, to do AI training, and eventually to publish papers, to peer review, etc. With this, because you can't just build it and they will come, chicken and egg problem again, with this, we are building, or the core of this is what we call a knowledge validation engine. In short, an engine where you can input a research paper, a hypothesis, or a problem that you're working on, and get it validated, each building block of that hypothesis validated up against all other research in the world. And I'm happy to talk more about that after the presentation if you guys want. And finally, building a knowledge validation engine, encouraging people with this incentive structure to actually publish open access through the engine allows us to build up a living, validated repository of science and of research. The governance of this project, we are the initiator, we are not the owner. Let me put that up again. There's, in fact, a 2% ownership cap for everyone, including ourselves. We're going to hold 50% plus one of the tokens after the token sale for up to 18 months. Then we're going to redistribute pretty much all of our tokens out to academics and researchers that have contributed. So there's not much financial gain for us, to be honest. 75% of the funds raised in the ICO will go to the community and be held by the community, and we will use to build the knowledge validation engine. And of course, there's community governance, and there's things in that, for example, like how do you do peer review? Is it transparent? Is it not transparent? It's vital that the community is part of making those decisions. Finally, this is a long-term play, not suitable for short-term speculation. Personally, short-term speculation in the crypto space makes me a little bit sick, and I think is detrimental to the overall space. We're doing a long-term play here. The technology we're building is going to be highly valuable. This validated repository alike, and finally, the code, this knowledge validation engine, will be open for anyone to build third-party tools on top of. So patent claim validation, or hedge funds wanting to make the perfect engine to predict technological breakthroughs, for example. We have an amazing team of international advisors, and I'm not going to go through them all because I have 1 second left. Finally, our private sale is opening right now. We have the first couple of commits on board, and our goal is to raise the Ether equivalent of 10 million euros. And with that, I thank you very much.
Hi, thank you very much for the presentation. I love the project. One of the things I'm wondering about is one of the reasons why people get PhDs and they get fellowships at universities is that being a part of university academia, you get access to a lot of data, you get access to libraries, you get access to books, you get access to resources that you can use to do your research. So how are you tackling that problem for researchers that want to work on your platform?
There's no conflict in that, in a sense. So our platform is entirely open. Actually, we're right now, and it's not official enough to put it on the slide, but we're working with the Norwegian Department of the Ministry of Knowledge, which organizes 137 research institutions. And they love what we do. They've been working on open access for years, right? I don't know if you know this, but right before Christmas, 200 German universities went together and refused to pay their Elsevier bills. Elsevier is the big bad wolf. 3 weeks ago, Sweden did the same thing. So like, this is a movement that is happening in academia and outside of academia, and you know, we love people that are part of universities, and there's no issue with that in any way.
More questions? There's one there. Two. Okay. Question?
Hi. Pretty much my main question is the following. One of the bigger problems when we are talking about research papers and scientific papers is there are a lot of paid papers where you have big corporations paying to find certain kind of research. Then when we are talking about machine learning and AI, it relies on studying previous examples to predict future outcomes. So eventually, how are you going to battle the problem where you might get a lot of, let's say, fake papers and fake findings, and eventually your AI algorithms might be trained to produce the wrong output? Thank you.
Right. So if the starting point had been all corporate papers, I would be very worried about that. The starting point is, of course, academia at large, where there is also, good papers that are produced by independent organizations. Though I would say that a lot of research today is also, to a certain degree, political, because it's funded by governments that might have their own agenda, and there's a number of things like that. When we build this knowledge validation engine, and again, it's not a full automation, it's a semi-automation, we're still very much going to need human peer reviewers. One of the cool, and it's kind of flipping your question a little bit, but one of the really neat third-party applications that I really want to see is using the knowledge validation engine to validate research papers and then combine that with financial data on which corporates are spending money on what research, and then actually see, is research that is funded by corporates, is that more or less valid and have higher or lower validity scores in terms of, for example, reproducibility than other papers. But of course, with any AI algorithm, it's no better than the data you feed it. But when you see everything under one, we should be able to actually start seeing those patterns, deliberately to remove that issue.
Let's go with the final one.
It's really quick. You just mentioned Elsevier and everybody here who did some research back in their days in their scientific work. What is your strategy and how you think to fight with these guys? And they are growing in their monopoly dominance all around the world, especially in the academia in Europe and US. Thanks.
So the question was on the Elsevier's. Yeah, so there is, as I said, there is a growing movement against them, right? Germany said, no, we're not paying. Sweden says, no, we're not paying. Norway's working on it. France is working on it. So there is a massive movement, so we hope to play into that. But literally, like, that's why we're starting with the AI engine, right? We're not starting to get every researcher to come out and publish to our platform. That would be ludicrous. But what we're doing is that we're building really powerful AI tools. And at some point, let's say 2 to 3 years down the line, you know, as a researcher, you can go to our tool, you can choose to pay to have your paper validated, keep the results to yourself, and then go publish it for free somewhere else. Or you could simply choose to let it go through the engine, be published open access, and actually get paid. And at some point, then there might have to be an intermediary step, which is continue to publish in, you know, in your Elsevier own journals, but publish your failed results with us and get financial reward for that. And over time, you know, we will build a mechanism where it's valuable enough to do so. And even if we never do, which would be a bummer, but even if we never do, there's still value enough in the technology and in the code that the project is going to be a successful, you know, successful economy at least.
Good stuff. Give it out another round of applause. Next one on the list is Leonardian, which comes from Leonardo da Vinci, probably. Yeah, cool.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, community. My name is Cristian Lozano, founder of Leonardian project. First, for your blog or website, are you using stock images, right? Maybe music, some digital products, okay. Maybe software ready to use. All of this is a digital project. Digital asset, sorry. I'm wondering why it's not switching. Okay, so images, music, video, ready to use software, they are all digital products and they are all digital assets. And our platform is only for digital assets and services. What is about Leonardian? First, the boring answer is Leonardian is a blockchain project, blockchain-based project only for digital assets and services. But this is the boring answer. Let's see. Is there any developers here? Again, maybe designers? Okay, good. I will give an example for Ivan. Probably is Georgi, but I'll call him Ivan. Ivan is a pretty good designer and he creates very, very good banners and logo designs. Ivan wants to sell a very beautiful banner and his banner is ready for sale in the biggest platform currently. What is the problem? The problem is that the price of the Ivan's banner is $100 and the platform fee is 50% at the moment. 50%. It's too high. And it's a 50% if Ivan is selling only on the platform exclusively. If Ivan wants to sell this banner on the many platforms, the fee is 70%. It's extremely high. So this is the first problem which we are trying to solve, the very high fees. Even more, if Ivan wants to withdraw the money, there is a delayed payment of the biggest platforms currently. And the delay is up to 45 days. This is the second big problem, the very big delay. And then, because the profit for Ivan from the banners is not too high, Ivan today decided to start freelancing, and now Ivan must create, open an account in a different freelance platforms, right? And here is the third problem. Often, very often, the digital product owners and the freelancers, they're the same people. And Ivan must open an account in different account and then again to face some very high fees. So currently there is no one big marketplace which combines the digital product selling and freelancing. Exactly here comes Leonardian. Leonardian aim is to fix all these gaps and provide a flat fee of 8%. Sorry, but this is not working. Okay, Leonardian aim is to provide a flat fee of 8%, instant payments, and to be a platform for all-in-one for digital products and also services. It's working. Sorry. Okay, now it's working. Why blockchain? We're using blockchain in order to have fastest payments, to have a traceability, great security, and also about the trust. Because nowadays, the current platforms, there is a very big lack of a trust because they are focused only on the profit and they doesn't care about the clients and the providers. In Leonardian, with the help of the blockchain, we'll fix all of the issues. Why we have our own token? We have our own token for the two main reasons. First of all, we'll try to manage the inflation and the liquidity if in case of some emergencies. And also, we'll use the token as a transport burst for meta information. Every operation on the platform will be stored in the blockchain with the help of the token. So, token is a transport bus. Why the project will be successful? For sure, the market for the digital assets and services is very big. Based on the statistic from the United States, it's 400 billions and is growing with a very high temps. And the project will be successful not only because of the market and because of the team. We're a team from 8 years and we are selling digital products, our own digital products and assets. Also, we are doing web development and design for 8 years as a team. Okay? And last but not least, what is for investors? After the ICO, we will implement market maker, and also with this we will guarantee the minimum price of the token. And also we are working on some kind of a bounty and bonus system for big investors in order to have them in the platform for the long period. Okay, so this is all about Leonardian and digital assets.
Anybody wants to have a question?
So you mentioned that the traditional players in this market charge a 50 to 70% commission on digital assets. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that the current main players in this market can charge a 50 to 70% commission?
Because we are providers and we have our own products and their charges as well 50 to 70% of fees.
Well, I don't think that's entirely true. In many cases, there are just a few really big players where all the procurers who buy these assets, they're basically dependent on those parties. Like, let's say if you want to hire a freelancer, you can use Upwork, you can use freelancer.com, and that's basically 90% of the market. So those parties can charge outrageous commissions, and that comes with market power. I mean, anyone could start a new marketplace and say, well, I'm charging a lower commission, but it doesn't work as long as you don't have a lot of the market power in it.
Yeah, Upwork, for example, is for Upwork, the fee is not 70 or 50, it's less, but I'm talking 50 and 70, for example, for Envato market. Do you know Envato market? It's a market for digital assets, and Envato market, the fees are between 50 and 70%. Yeah, for Upwork and services, the percentages are less, but again, Upwork is charging us, for example, 20 to 30% per project as a provider.
Let me try to phrase it as a question. What is your strategy to gain enough market power that your platform can compete with those existing main players?
Yeah, we made the research with the actual providers and clients, and we asked them what are the main frustrations and problems in the current markets. Also, we are organizing a few events for the community members on those platforms, and after the discussion with them, we found that the main problems are with the fees, delayed payment, and the trust in the platform. So if there is a good alternative for them, they will change the platform for sure. For sure.
Okay, so some more questions? There's one here.
Sorry, I'm not sure I quite get it about the market makers and fixing the price. What do you mean with that? I mean, I'm not sure that you're capable of doing this.
If you're an investor, we are guaranteed to you that if for some reason after the ICO you want to sell your tokens again to the platform, we'll buy your tokens. Yeah, we'll buy your tokens. Yeah, buy back. Yes, this is the first part of market maker, and then we're working now to have a better mechanism of real market maker.
Next one is Tanzo, right? Yeah, good stuff. Go for it.
Hi guys, my name is Norman Chorov. I'm a co-founder of Tanzo.
Can you guys?
I'm here with my, let's say, partner, but not in life, you know.
Hi guys, I'm happy to be here for the second time and present the second project I'm participating into. So let's kick it off.
Yeah, thanks. What's Tanzo? Basically, Tanzo is a social marketplace for handmade goods, specially designed for crafters and people who create things with their own hands. What's different between any other marketplace? It's the thing that's the social aspect. Basically, we are trying to... That's not working. Okay. We're trying to create a blockchain-based marketplace, social marketplace, specially designed for those people. The whole idea behind Tanzo is to create a trusted marketplace where every participant on both sides, buyers and vendors, can feel secure that everybody is holding his end of the bargain. Let's say that you are, okay, let's take Ivan for example. Okay, hi Ivan. Let's say that Ivan, you are creating something with your hands, you are great at it, you are like well known in certain circles, but you have a difficulty selling your product globally. You can always go on any known marketplaces, but that's not going to solve any of your problems. But we're going to talk about that a bit later. We started our research in like 2016, and it turned out that the global market for handmade goods had tripled from 2016 until 2020. My personal explanation of that is people are creating more and more global wealth, and becoming wealthier, people want to like own unique and personal items. Nobody wants to have the same stuff. Everybody knows how is it. The trajectory of the market is to be 150 billion this year. I mean, in 2 years, sorry. So, what's Tanzo platform? I'm not going to go through the advantages step by step because it's going to be difficult. I'm just going to like do a case. Let's just say that, of course, Ivan again is creating something with his hands, and he's trying to sell it online. First of all, he must go to any ordinary marketplaces, which is okay. But first of all, at those places, he's competing with everybody else. Even if somebody finds him, which is going to be very difficult for him to market himself, there is no insurance for any buyer, for me, for you guys, to know for sure that that person really exists, that that creation is made by his hand, and there is a value, there's added value from him there. So at Tanzo, what we do is first, we're creating an easy-to-use platform, very easy for everybody. Secondly, using the blockchain technology, of course, we are using all its upsides, like low fees, low transaction costs, payments with large varieties. And then we have something called bonus and reward system. It's nothing new, actually. Basically, we incentivize every participant in each transaction. But the main thing is the proof of identity and proof of the craftsmanship of every product. Every vendor, every crafter on the platform, before he's allowed to sell, even to open his own profile, he must go to identity verification process. Actually, we're partnering with a large blockchain company called Civic. They are our partners. We are using their technology. After a crafter goes to the KYC and he's allowed to open his profile on Tanzo, then he must go through a certain steps to verify and authentify his creation. And with that, we are solving, a lot of problems. First of all, as I said, nobody knows who is on the other side. We are verifying that every people is a real person, he's a real crafter. After that, when you find him on that special place on Tanzo, you are sure that this person is real crafter. There is no curiosity, do I buy that, do I not buy that, that this person exists. Of course, there is lack of communication between every buyer and every seller. Most platforms do this intentionally. Basically, they don't want people to communicate with each other. I assume that they want people let them do deals outside of the platform. And that's another big problem, especially for those people. And again, there is something really which is disturbing the marketplace, the reviews. Even if you go to let's say Etsy, people are saying, okay, this is Etsy on a blockchain. Ideally, it's not, but let's say there's something similar. You can never know that this review is real and it's reliable. The social aspect of Tanzo is whenever somebody participates in a deal, let's say you buy something and you receive it, then you can rate the seller separately and the creation itself. From those social activities, of course, you get return in tokens as a bonus from the platform, participating and adding value to the community of the crafters and the platform itself. Comparing ourselves to the competition, basically there's not much competition, especially places designed for crafters. Of course, the trust, the very low commission. Commissions can go up to 20% in different platforms. We're charging 1.5% on each sale, and after that, the bonus and reward system is returning 35% from that 1.5% back to the people who participate in the social activities in the platform. Let's say likes, shares, reviews, proposals, and many others which you will see a bit later. The proof of craftsmanship, how does that work? Once you have your profile on Tanzo, you have the app, and then you start uploading your item. First, you need to go to some really simple steps if you are a crafter. If you're a real crafter, there's no problem for you to follow those steps. You're using the platform first to timestamp and location stamp your workplace. So we know that every time you post something, we know that this is one-of-a-kind item. Not only because of that, but because there is a time frame between each and every post. You cannot post 10 or 20 things of the same, they're all the same at the same time. Basically, you don't have the time to create them. After that, the platform is giving you a QR code in which you input different data depending on the product, which is collected from us and, of course, stored on the blockchain. After that, there is the other side of the coin. When you purchase something and you receive it, you get a QR code, and when you scan it, you can see all the data which is inputted from the vendor, from the time it took him to create it, the materials, which, by the way, we're trying to verify on the blockchain, but not from all items, of course. Right now, we are trying to get a deal with the Bears, one of the largest diamond companies, because they're doing a blockchain company on their own. And after you verify, after you get your item and you scan the QR code, you get all that information. And when we designed that technology, by coincidence, we solved another problem. Many people buy things off the internet and then they pretend they didn't get them, or they got lost, or they were broken, or poor quality. Once you scan your product, you have a certain amount of time to complain, because otherwise people are receiving like let's say a vase, they break it in a couple of days or in a month, and they say, okay, that broke. But that's not a feature that's it's really important for right now. This is how we're going to use the KYC for the identity verification. Basically, we're integrating fully Civic into our platform, and they're holding. Sorry, are we out of time? Okay, sorry. Okay, basically, I'm not going to go into detail. I explained it earlier. I'm going to get the other founder to talk about the bonus reward system. Just like 50 seconds, guys. Okay, anyway, here we have the blockchain, how exactly we're going to use it. Apparently, we're not going to be able to go over that. And the token economy, I thought I had enough time, but apparently I didn't. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, let's say that I'm Ivan. How can I prove that I'm Ivan indeed? How can you assure me that you store my personal information securely?
Of course, if we're doing that ourselves, nobody's going to believe us that we are capable of doing it. That's why we're partnering with Civic. I don't know if I'm familiar with that company. They launched their ICO a year ago. Right now, they're like $300 million company. We are outsourcing the ID verification to them. Basically, we're integrating their product into our application. Once you scan your ID card, everything goes to them, and it's secured on the blockchain. After that, they're just verifying, okay, that person is real, that ID card is real. Of course, anybody can use somebody else's ID card and try to pretend to be somebody else on the platform, but because of the bonus reward system and the rating and the social aspects, those people, they're going to be kicked out really, really fast from the platform, and basically they won't be able to sell at all at Tanzo. Thank you guys. Thank you once again, and sorry that I missed.
Next one is, how do you pronounce that? Wadex. Cool.
Thank you. Hello, friends and crypto enthusiasts. Before I start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tito. I'm a full-stack developer with 4 years of experience. I'm co-founder of WadeChain and also Wadex. So today we will speak about Wadex, the first decentralized exchange in Bulgaria and one of the first decentralized exchanges in Europe. Some problem, I think. Yeah, it's working. Sorry. So we will start with one quote. If you don't like how things are, change it. You are not a tree. Exactly, we are not a trees, and everything is going to decentralized systems, especially for decentralized assets. Sorry. Yes, we can continue. So I will start with what we don't like. First of all, we don't like the centralized exchanges. Can you click it? Thank you. Why we don't like the centralized exchanges? Because they are untrusted third parties. What this means? That they have full control of our assets and they can control our accounts, for example. Do you have some problems where you can't register because there is too much users? Or maybe you can withdraw your bitcoins because there is some limitation for 24 hours and all these kind of limitations. Also, there is a downtimes. If all of these stuffs were on the blockchain, there would be no downtimes, no limitations, no any kind of problems. And last but most important thing that we don't like is providing personal data and compromised these centralized exchanges every day. We don't know about all of this compromisation, but in fact, all of the big exchanges are compromised and they can't handle it because there is hacker attacks and we lost our funds, and you know the biggest exchange have problems, but no one told us about this. Can you continue? Yes, what we do like and why do we prefer the decentralized way? You can see here there is a little graph. You have full control of your assets anytime. Even if our user interface is down, you can have contact with the contract and take your assets or add some new assets to your account. There is public transactions and everything that you do is visible on the blockchain. It won't be hidden. No personal data needed. This is the decentralized way. We just need your public key and private key for the transactions, but your private key is only on your computer, only on the client side, and we never knew it. We just needed to sign the transactions. There is no withdrawal deposits, obviously. When everything about the exchange is on the blockchain, you can withdraw your funds anytime, and there is no limitation. For example, you can withdraw 100 Ethers, not only 10. There is no account suspensions. You can register and you can log into our exchange anytime. And the smart contract is open source. This is really important because you can see what's happening with your funds. Go to the next slide, please. Yes, WADEX utility token. Here is what we will use our token for, especially to make a strong community and to fund our project. We want to have a lot of funds for research and for development. Everything will go for the project. Other important thing is 50% discount. If you use our token, you will have 50% discount for all exchange fees, which is great. And last but the most important is we will try to make cross-chain transactions. And we will make it because of our token. It will be mintable, and later we will add more blockchain technologies like Neo and Ether, and we will try to connect the two blockchains and transfer assets between them. So, why blockchain and why WADEX? Why is this decentralized way better than centralized? I show you a lot of examples, but I will continue with more. Here is first the UI and the UX. I think it's much more better than any existing decentralized exchange. You can check the others, but I won't say any names because it's not good. I opened the website for a while. Okay. So here is our website. You can check it, and I will show you some advantages that maybe I forget. First, we are decentralized. It is obvious. We have low fees. It is just between 0.1% and 0.2%. We have a referral system bonus, which is in fact unique for the decentralized exchanges. I haven't seen some other decentralized exchange that offer this option. We have high availability. open API for other developers to connect our contract, and the support. It is really important. We will try to have 24-hour support because we like the personal attention. It is one of the most important stuff nowadays. Innovations, we have multiple order transactions, which means that with one transaction, you can take 2 or 3 orders, which is again a new feature, and these other decentralized exchanges didn't offer it. It will save us time and transaction fees. Yes, we have wall listing fees, and every time we list a new token, we will make an airdrop for our web users. Security of WadeX, we already go through that. Main trading assets, here are listed some of the assets, but in fact, we can list any ERC20 token, and later we hope the new Neo-based tokens. So this is just an example. Of course, we will list just tokens that are trustable and worth. We won't list anything. And here is our team. This is me. I'm the CEO of the project. Here is our blockchain architect. Here is our CTO. He's behind me, helping with the slides. Here is our JavaScript developer and another blockchain developer, which is helping with the project. So I think I'm out of time, so you can ask your questions. And thank you.
You explained pretty well like the difference between centralized and decentralized exchanges, but how do you differ? How do you differentiate yourself from all the other decentralized exchanges?
Thank you. Like I said, we have innovations like multiple order transactions. Maybe for you it doesn't mean nothing, but for traders it's important and it saves really a lot of transaction fees and time. Second, we have referral bonus, which is important, and I think it's a really good feature. And last but not least, and the most important, we will strive for cross-chain transactions. And in fact, no one else is offering it now. Yes?
Some of those features are you can find them in, okay, not the multiple transactions, but still if you have a 0.12, which is pretty much standard for a DEX, fee, you can just do several. It's all the same, like in transaction-wise. Then why do you need a token for? Except for like the lower, I got the answer about the 50% lower fees. You have it on centralized and decentralized. You don't need actually an ICO for it. You just can like mint it. It's a good enough incentive.
Like I said multiple times, because of these tokens, we will be able to make cross-chain transactions. We'll make some kind of workaround to communicate between Ethereum and Neo. And because of this, we need a token. We'll use it like a universal token that can go from one chain to another. It is still in development, but if it happens, it will help us for the cross-chain transactions.
Hi, your presentation was very interesting. I have 2 questions. Can you tell us more about your legal structure and how do you face international finance regulations? And second, how do you plan to provide liquidity on your exchange?
Thank you for the question. So first of all, about the legal stuffs, decentralized exchanges have much more benefits and they are not so damaged from the KYC. I mean, here you have only public key and that's all. And you have to sign with your private key. I don't need any data like your name, your country, your ID card. So for now, there is no strict regulations, and I think they won't do it in the soon future because, in fact, we are not using any personal data. But yeah, we have a legal advisor, and we are working on this because of course, we can have some problems in the future. And what was the other question? Sorry. Yeah. Our plan is to find starting ICOs and offer them low listing fee or free listing fee for the beginning. And we hope that a big part of their community will come to trade on our exchange. And if they like it, the experience, the UI, and the functionality, probably most of them will stay.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I really enjoyed, but this is a question. But I think the previous question about the liquidity, because I had the same question, is how you attract the traders, because at the beginning you have missing bits and asks. And my second question is about the order book. How will you provide the speed and will be available for quantitative trading? And can you tell me more about how you construct order book and will be an API available? Thanks.
Thank you. To be fast answer. So, like I said, we will use starting ICOs and we will make some liquidity. Second, when you have a decentralized exchange, you can list any token without any problems. Everything which is ERC20 could be listed, like EOS, Golem, and all kind of tokens. So if you find some users, we will be able to use a lot of trading assets and we will make some liquidity, I hope. And we are working on marketing campaign now. And about the speed and about the order book, everything is based on the smart contract. And so, you have to wait 14 seconds for each transaction to be filled, of course. But this is Ethereum limitation. Thank you.
And the last but not least, we have depository network.
Yeah, you can just use that.
Hello everyone. This is our project. We call it Depot. I will start with a question. How many of you has any digital asset? Do you have any? Only a few of you. I cannot believe that. So the second question is, how do you deal with your digital asset? Do you think that they could only be sold, or can you use them in any different way? I'll give you the answer. It's pretty simple. When we started to think about depository network, we had two main questions to answer. And the first question when we came out was, we've got our digital assets. The only thing what we could do is use the platforms for sale. But if we want not to sell them, but still use their value, what we can do? There was no answer. The other question was, can we use them on the front of the lending institutions? The answer was yes, but then we ask another question. Can lending institutions accept them in order to use their value? The answer was not. Having these two answers in our pocket, we started thinking about depository network. What is the depository network? Depository network is simply a platform where the lenders and the end users could meet and really use the value of their digital assets. It was more or less natural for us to see that there is an open niche. And instead of selling our digital assets, how it is in the real world, to use them without using the ownership over the assets and to still have their value, use it for whatever we want, receiving money or whatever we want to receive for that value. The idea is the platform to work as a B2B platform, meaning that our plan is to have all the lending institutions, which are many in the world, thousands, banks, non-banks, peer-to-peer platforms, to have it in our platform, they to use it to create their own special or white label solutions, the end user, the customer, to go there directly to their white label solution, and finally to meet the needs of two parts. Of course, we started asking how we could do that, how we could bring them the security. The answer was very simple. Blockchain. Why blockchain? Because when the contract, the smart contract is initiated, then no one could change it. All the conditions are there. So if the conditions are met, everything goes perfectly and smooth. You could see how we believe that our network start working. How it works for the individuals? Very easy. Go on the website of the bank or lending institutions, because you're going to you contact the bank through their website, not through us. We're just a platform. This is the main difference. Go there, see what the conditions are, deposit your digital asset in your account, have your key, the bank will receive the key as well, and we will have one of the keys, and this is exactly for the security. When use, of course, use the value, use the fiat or whatever you want, and then when the conditions are met, you are not using, the most important thing is that you as owner of the digital asset, you are not using the ownership. What you now do with your digital asset, let's say coins, is just to sell them. By selling them, you just dispose of them and you receive the fiat money. Here you could receive, for example, fiat money. So here you could receive fiat money without losing the ownership. And this is the most biggest advantage that we believe will really bring the bank institutions and the lending institutions and the users to use what we are going to create, the platform. The figures are obvious. So for us it was a natural choice to start thinking in that way. You could see these are the figures worldwide. Why the platform? Why the bank? We also ask ourselves one more question. Why we? Why the bank does not create their own platform? Because it costs a lot and they are not very good in all this digital world. They are very, very old type institutions. We believe that we will save them money for creation, we will save them money for support. We are third party which will bring more security to the relations. This is the plan. We are about to launch our ICO in 26 days. These are the token economics. We cannot surprise you with almost anything. See all this token economics for the ICOs. Our experience. I didn't want to start with the experience, but actually, you see me, I'm a pretty old guy in the front of you. So we had a lot of experience in the real world. And this is what we want to bring to the next level, to you and to us, of course. We would bring our experience, combine it with all the technology, combine it with the digital thinking, and we will come up with something naturally natural and real, existing in the real world and easily implementing in the digital world. The team is me, Delian, you will see a lot of names. Martin is one of the co-founders of Bitcoin. I'm a managing partner of one of the biggest law offices in Bulgaria. We've got Kostov, we've got Delian. So we are professionals in our spheres with a vision that our experience would be really transferred to the digital world. Again, our co-founders and friends and team, a lot of banking experience, investment in banking, you will see. So that's it.
Questions? I don't see any. One here, cool.
So when you use the word digital asset, I'm assuming that you mean cryptocurrencies or tokens. Is that correct? Or are you also talking about computer software or stock photos? And I have a follow-up question after.
Yeah, we mean crypto, but not only. As you see in the presentation with the previous guys, everything which is digitally transferable, it's digital asset. So now you could have even the real estate into digital asset. So everything is digital asset. And every asset has a value. Every value can be used in that platform.
Okay, so then I have two follow-up questions. One has to do with crypto or tokens. Generally, as a lender, if you accept something as a collateral, you want something that has a more or less stable value to guarantee a loan. And as we've all seen, the value of cryptocurrencies fluctuates wildly. So I'm curious if you found lenders to be enthusiastic about this and willing to accept those collaterals. My other question is about other types of digital assets. Like say, if I own a website, and how would I deposit that in your network? I just don't see how that works technically?
So, to the first question, does the bank accept shares as collaterals? Does the bank accept bonds for collaterals? They do. And they are the same, they are traded on the same way as you trade your crypto. So this is something which will come. The bank started to ask about it. Even we had some questions from the institution, not banking institutions yet, whether this is possible and how they could, how we could switch the systems, whether it's possible to switch their existing system with the platform that we are dealing. So the interest is there and the future is there. So we really believe how it happened 100 years ago with the shares, that this will go for the crypto. For the rest, yes, we also have a question about this, but the core thing is in the value. So if you have a website, most probably you have any rights on it. This is a legal matter. And that project actually is really confronting the legal concepts of the assets. Me and Dilian, we are really in the business, in the legal business. So for us was challenge to really find the concept. The concept is there. If you have any right, you could document it. If you have a document for your rights, then you could use it for collateral. It could be agreement, it could be anything that is documented. This is the concept in general.
Yeah, it's a legal question. So you're maybe well aware that the bank have some issues with putting crypto into their bookkeepings. That's a big issue. And most of your potential clients would be banks. How would you incentivize them to use your platform or protocol? What is it? That's another question. And how, okay, it's a platform, and how you're going to compete similar projects like Nexo, which are like?
So there is difference between Nexo and us. We are not going to intensify the banks. This is for sure. Our potential client, the first clients will not be the banks, and this is more or less clear. They are not going to come that year. But not banking institutions and P2P platforms, these are the first comers and really have some interest on that. So I do not expect the bank to come that year, but even the question with the crypto in their books, there are some banks in Asia which started to consider how to deal with that question, and this is a matter of risk. Now what we understand and what we know is that they're changing their risk policies in order to have as much as is possible crypto in their books. This will come. It is coming. So even it's not a matter of regulation because having crypto is not forbidden. No, it's not hard. It's a matter of really proper assessment of the risk. If you have the principle in the banks is if you have high risk, that high risk should be a certain % of your low risk portfolio. This is the main thing. No, we are not excluding the banks. You ask me, who do you believe is going to be the first users? The first users are P2P and the non-banking. For sure, they are going to be the first. Then the bank will come, the banks.
I might have missed that, but for example, if I want to stake, let's go use as a collateral some digital asset, who has the final say? How much is it's worth? Is it just between the lender and the other party, or it's part of your team's work? For example, if I want to use, I don't know, World of Warcraft tokens, who will say how much they are worth?
Sure, it's not going to be us. So we are not messing in evaluation. This is a job which should be done usually, at least in the real world, is done by the bank or independent individuals, and the value is agreed between the parties. So we will give them the platform gives them the possibility even to discuss the value, but we are not messing with evaluations.
That was it. promise we won't pass until 9, so it's 3 to 9. That was it. We will have another round of these because we have a lot of applications. Next one, we're going to present another, probably 6 ICOs because it was a little bit long. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, this was a forum, so you can see the projects, you can mingle with them, communicate, ask questions, make Bulgaria great again, as Donald Trump will say, and that's it. Cheers.